Hey, all you speedy bards and bardettes, welcome back to iCast Vicious Mockery.
A show about seafaring, vile creatures, and controlling the weather.
And your source for weekly recaps on all stock car racing.
All right, we're not going to do that. I'm Matt.
I'm Austin.
And welcome, everyone. We're going to hopefully not talk about One Piece today.
I did notice you slipped in a little, I think, what was that? One of those things you said, you slipped in a little thing that sounded like it could be One Piece adjacent, possibly.
Yeah. There are quite a few vile creatures. Oh, those all had to do with One Piece.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to my One Piece podcast, episode 367.
But one of them had to do with the homebrew that I have today.
Okay, we'll go with that then.
Hey, Homebrewity. I think we've had Homebrewity before.
Homebrewity. I like the name.
Yeah, Homebrewity. It's a rain ball. It looks like a snow globe, but it's got a storm inside of it.
Ah, okay. I was like, just wet. It's just a water. Okay.
It's all right.
A
wet ball. It's just always wet. It doesn't like secrete water. It's just always wet.
Interesting.
No, that's actually not true.
What is wet? Am I wet?
Is water wet? Everyone knows about the ability of druids and wizards to change the weather. However, everything that magicians possess can be transferred to magical artifacts, hence the rain ball, endowed with the magic of storm and destruction. That was like a short version of what it actually says, but it has 10 charges.
Okay.
It regains 2d6 plus 3 charges at dawn. And the spell save DC for all spells is 15. So you use an action to honk your horn. That was loud.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't. Well, it probably picked up on the audio.
It could have. Yeah.
It was pretty loud. Anyway.
I'll when in post, I'll amplify that like crazy.
Just make it really loud. You can use an action to cast the following spells. You can use 3 charges to cast Call Lightning, 6 charges for Chain Lightning.
Hello, is lightning there?
3 charges for Lightning Bolt.
I'm Barry. I know lightning from school. I was just wondering. She's
4 charges for Storm Sphere.
I'll call back later.
1 charge for Thunderwave. I hate
maybe don't, Barry,
when my voicemail plays during the show. Hi, this is Joe Pudding from the
about
Pudding
your
Store.
Extended warranty and
Yeah. I have one of those old school phones where the voicemail is actually like recorded on tape.
We should bring that back. Why don't we do that? I'm sorry. I kind of missed the second 2 spells because you said call lightning and that was just hilarious. Everybody knows that's the funniest spell.
There were like 4 other spells.
I thought you said 3 things. No, call lightning takes 3 charges.
Yeah.
I wasn't even listening to that. I haven't heard a single thing you've said to me today.
Call lightning was the first thing I said in that list.
Yeah, I remember that part. That was so funny. Do you get it though? Do you get what my bit was when you said call lightning?
No.
Let me explain it to you.
No, I don't. Yeah, please explain it to
lightning me. is a character in Final Fantasy 13.
Okay.
And Final Fantasy 13-2.
Uh-huh.
She's also featured prominently in Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns.
Okay.
And in a Gucci advertisement. I believe. Was it Gucci or Prada?
It is Final Fantasy 13 the one with the like ha 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 ha?
No, that's 10. Yeah.
That was 10.
I think.
Okay, I remember now that was 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about 13.
Honestly, it could have been 10 too. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, okay. You said 13 and 13 too.
Yeah.
And I was like, the only game that I know that has two parts like that is the one with the ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was 10. But then I remembered that it was 10.
Yeah. 13 is clearly a better game because it has 3 parts. That's how you can tell.
And a girl named Lightning.
Lightning is the main character, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know if she's the main character of all of them, but one of them is named after her.
The other spells were Chain Lightning, 6
Wait, I didn't even get to the joke yet. Okay, sorry. Chain Lightning. Okay, I know what that does. Yeah, cool.
Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt.
3 charges.
Mm-hmm.
Storm Sphere.
Storm Sphere. Got it.
4 charges.
What does that do?
Thunder Wave. 1 charge. It doesn't say what the
Thunder Wave is all good. That's fine. All right. So, Storm Sphere, I'll assume, makes another one of this item. Continue.
I don't think that's true, but
it duplicates the item. It uses 1 charge. The new one is fully charged.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how they made their business.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as they sold the first one, they had a trouble. Somebody somewhere kept undercutting them on the price, and that just kept happening.
People still go and buy them though.
Weird. Yeah, weird.
Like they're still at Walmart.
Yeah.
You can go and get one there for full price.
You ever think about how people buy dirt from Walmart?
Yeah, I guess that's
people
that's
just
funny.
They go there and buy dirt. You can do one other thing with this though. Don't worry. It wasn't just the cast the spells.
Okay.
You can also conjure a storm. It's a 10-minute ritual,
mm-hmm.
And you use it to cast control weather. Temperature. It says something about stages. I don't really know what it means. I think it has to do with the spell control weather, but you can only use it like that once per day, but basically you use it to control the weather.
Cool.
Okay, why did I pick this one?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
I honestly don't know. I think it really is just it's good. I like this item. I like this thing.
So number 1, weather is really fun to mess around with. Agreed. Right? Like if you can come up with some cool ways to use that, that's awesome. I feel like a lot of people that would be a challenge they don't care about. Right? Like they don't care about weather, they just want to do a fight. Or they just want to do whatever. But there are definitely people who are like, oh, I can use this.
Oh, I'll make use of this.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell, or maybe you can't. Is this the thing people can't tell? You could kind of look at what your players do and what interests them, and come up with like, is this a good? Like, this isn't good for every campaign, every party.
No, I don't think so.
There are people who they'd be like, all right, this is all right, yeah, maybe I'll use the spells, but I probably have I have my own build. And I know which spells I need, and I'm not wasting an action using this thing a limited number of times when I have whatever build I was working on. Now, besides the fact that this give that to your fighter, and then they're like, Thunderwave. Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Like that's great. But, if you don't think of, even something as simple as that, this has a lot of good uses. There are just some people who are going to really take this to the next level and use the weather to their advantage. Now, because I could see that you could be some sort of fortune teller who uses cloud formations and weather in order to, tell people their future. And, you look up to the sky and you see, uh-oh, I was just reading your future, and look, now it's thunderstorming out of nowhere. What happened? You know,
What?
like,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is bad now. You are in trouble. You better let me protect you for money.
Pay me and I'll protect you.
Right? Stuff like that. I mean, that's the kind of fun hijinks you can get up to with this thing.
Okay, one thing that's interesting about it.
Yeah.
It says that it has 10 charges. It doesn't say that those are the maximum charges, like the maximum that it can hold. It doesn't say whether or not it is, but it says that it regains 2d6 plus 3, the average of which would be 10.
Oh. So this thing, wow, if it has unlimited charges, that's crazy.
Right, which couldn't be the case for it just couldn't. That would be like,
dude, we just touch feet.
Yeah, we just touch feet. It would be really unbalanced to well, okay, whatever about balance. It just doesn't feel right to give something unlimited charges. And an average of 10 every day. But also it's weird that you're more times than not going to regain everything back again every day.
Yeah, that is weird.
You know what I mean?
It's sort of like, imagine if a dragon's breath weapon recharged on, on a D6 roll where you get a 2 through 6. It's just almost always recharging.
Right.
And some turns it won't.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, exactly. I mean,
but this is even almost more. Okay, well, I guess if the average is 10, then you got a 50-50, right? Oh, but that's just no, yeah. Okay.
Right, okay. So, but
that's a 50-50 chance from 0 it will recharge every day.
If you cast Storm Sphere with this, 4 charges, guaranteed to get that back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because the lowest thing you can roll on the D6 is a 1 each.
But maybe maybe I see what they're going for here. They want you to be able to cast Storm Sphere every day without fail. Actually, and they want you to be able to use some more magic sometimes if you want. But then there's a chance that the next day you can't use as much. Maybe that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, maybe it's interesting because now that I'm thinking about it more, you can actually almost guaranteed cast Chain Lightning every day because it's 2d6 plus 3. The lowest possible roll is 5. You're guaranteed 5,
right?
Like for sure.
Yeah.
If you're really unlucky, and at the most that's 15, which doesn't even hold that many charges. It's just weird that the maximum that you could roll is less than the total number of charges that it holds.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, because most weapons of that kind, the number of charges you get back, the maximum is half or less than the total amount that it holds. You know what? You know? So it's very rare according to its rarity as written by Homebrewity. Did I say this was by Homebrewity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I get what they're going for with that recharge though. It feels weird. I mean, it works obviously as standard. They're just using the regular rule, but I think they're trying to bend the regular rule to give a different type of recharge. Like
they want you to be able to use this.
They want you to be able to use it every day at mostly full power, but there's a chance that it doesn't regenerate. You know, like you can't always bank on it, but you can still use it a lot. You know, you're gonna probably be able to cast the best spell with it, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I've never come across one quite like that.
Now, another thing that it excludes, which is not true with every magic item of its type, but many of them.
Right.
A lot of times, if you use every charge, if you drain it and it gets to 0 charges, there is a percentage chance, like a 5% chance or something, that it just will never work again.
Is that common? I haven't heard of that happening. No, maybe I have. I've heard of some where those are the charges and that's it forever. I haven't really heard of many where it like discharges like an old phone battery.
Yeah, but only if you, if it worked like a phone battery.
No, like old, the old ones where you'd have to like carefully charge it up and then let it discharge and then charge it. Those ones.
Yeah.
Like new ones, they just do it automatically, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I feel like that would be a good way to put some more stakes on how you use it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to be a little bit like, I think it's okay to put something in there so you're a little more careful. So you are very likely, if you use all the charges, you're very likely to get all the charges back.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of throwing something in there where it's not likely to happen, but it could.
You know what? I'm going to flip flop that and I'm going to say, make it likely. It's a glass orb. And I think if you use all the charges, not only does it explode, but I think when it explodes, it casts Thunderwave and hits the holder and everything around them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Right. Well, and that makes sense. Like, there is something keeping this thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And if you use it too much, the more you use it, the more likely it is to just fail.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I like,
for me, I think it would be like, if you get it down to 0 charges, that happens. It's just that. But you might never run into that then. Like, if someone knows that's coming, they'll just never get it down to 0 charges.
Right.
And if they don't,
it might feel cheap.
It might feel cheap. Exactly.
Yeah. For it to just happen.
They might be like, oh, well, this was a cool item until it broke when I first tried to use it because I didn't know I couldn't use all 10 charges.
Right. Exactly.
Like, why does it even have 10 if I can't use them all?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's too much. But
I mean, so would a 5% chance of it just not working again.
Well, I like the idea of it exploding.
Yeah.
Potentially. You know what I mean? So, but
because you can use that too. You could be like, oh shoot, I've only got 1 charge left. I guess that's enough for a thunder wave. Oh, then it does it twice.
So, okay, my imagination is,
or maybe when it gets to 0, you can purposely detonate it.
You can do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked before about a homebrew, or maybe we didn't talk about it on the show. There's a pretty common homebrew, like a pretty well-known homebrew where, or it's not even homebrew. I think it's actually in the rules of the game somewhere. It's considered an alternative rule set where you can cast, if you have no spell slots, you can cast a spell by using exhaustion. So like if you want to cast a first level spell, you don't have any spell slots, you can take 1 level of exhaustion and cast the spell.
Second level spells, you get 2 levels of exhaustion?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
And you can cast a 9th level spell, but you die.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Like guaranteed death. And you know, I would definitely do it in a way where it's like,
maybe I'd only allow up to 7th level spells actually.
I might only allow, because I think death is 6.
Death is 6, yeah.
I might only allow up to 6.
Up to 6. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Because that's death anyway.
Yeah, because I think while you're casting the spell, it would go like, oh no, I'm exhausted and exhausted.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, okay, that's fine.
So a waste of time to cast a concentration 6th level spell. Anyway, so in that same vein though, I think that implication is the same. Like you try to draw out more from it than it can handle, and then it fails, but doing that on purpose. So you break it forever, but you get to do an extra thing.
Yeah.
Great. I like that.
What if it creates a permanent thunderstorm where it breaks? What if it's like some cool stuff like that?
Making a note of that because I like the idea of the adventuring party shows up to a place where it's always storms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great reason why.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have to know that's the reason why.
Yeah.
But like...
Well, I also like the idea of this is a desperate action and I'm only going to use it because this is my last resort. But yeah, let's make it something flashy and cool that has a permanent effect on the world rather than, oh no, this is my desperate last action. I'm going to throw my sword at them. And hopefully I can pick it up because hopefully it kills them. But if it doesn't, then I probably just don't have a sword now till the fight's over.
Cool.
You know, like it's just not like this is a like this was a desperate struggle. We were so screwed. We were doomed. And then like we were down to nothing, no resources. We had nothing we could use. But then we sacrificed one of our, because this is a pretty good item. We sacrificed one of our best weapons permanently, and it has scarred this world in a way. You know, like this is a permanent, a permanent change to an ecosystem, right? Like, who knows what would happen where you use that? That's cool.
Yes, I like this. I like this a lot. This idea of overusing weapons, because magic just feels. If you want to make magic feel, I think it's a good way to make magic feel different than technology, because you can't. Well, you can, but technology is designed not to be overused. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to overuse technology.
Or at least it's sort of like when it, like the failure conditions are pretty defined.
Yeah.
Maybe is more like it.
Yeah. Or even like, like pushing it to the point of failure doesn't actually even help you at all.
Yeah. You can't you can't juice anything out of almost spent, an almost spent crossbow.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If it's almost going to break, it's just going to break.
So I feel like it almost makes the magic feel more grounded in the world if you let people use it that way, because it kind of makes sense, especially with like the design of what this is. Like this is basically a storm inside of a thing.
And if you build that kind of magical sacrifice, I guess, into your story, then what you're going to find is that there are not a lot of wizards who live to 8,000 years old.
No.
Like there are a lot who die really young because they do this, right? Like it's a desperate situation and they sacrifice themselves.
Right. Magic.
And that's like kind of, it would tie into like what people find the purpose of magic to be, I think, if you could use it that way. That's fun. That's cool.
I agree. See, it's a neat little thing. I used to skip over stuff like this and like not save it for the podcast, but I realized that some of our best
it turns out
stuff comes out.
That the little stuff where it's not like a really big, fully fleshed out thing, that allows the most room for creativity.
Yeah, most room for interpretation and thinking about it. I was, I frequent social media, as do most people nowadays. And I came across a video that I thought was interesting. It's like a little clip on Instagram. It's this guy that I've seen before. He talks about D&D, and he just gives like a tip for every little video that he does. And I found myself disagreeing with this guy. I don't know his name or anything. I don't remember who he is.
So if you're watching this, that guy, we're about to give you the smack down.
Maybe it was a sick burn.
Your booty.
Sick burn for me to say that I don't remember who he is at all. But I just remember.
It's harder on Instagram.
It is.
I think everyone gets that. I hope you know?
Yeah. Anyway, it just came up, and he was like, his opening line was, when not to use homebrew in D&D. He was like, when should you avoid it? When should you not use it? I was like, oh, that's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a time where you should avoid it, like not use it at all? And the only thing that he said, he was like, you should not use homebrew in D&D if you're a brand new DM and you're just starting to dungeon master. And his logic was,
you're not good enough at balancing yet. You don't
know the rules well enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he made some salient points. Like if you run into a problem, you're going to have to hit the brakes a lot because you don't know the rules yet. And if you start changing them before you know them, it's going to cause problems. Like,
you know what?
Mm-hmm.
There is some DM out there listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, who has gotten into some trouble with some homebrew. Right now, they're running their first campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They gave somebody a homebrew item that is too strong. Let's help them out of this jam.
Okay. Yeah.
What kind of things can we do? Like, all right, so story reasons that we can negate the impact of this homebrew. That's it. Story reasons we can. Let's say it's a magic weapon or item.
Okay.
And it's just too good. They're not going nuts with the homebrew, but they threw in a couple of cool magic items that like they thought sounded really great and not too abusable. But this one was, and it's ruining the fun for everybody. You can tell because everyone gets into combat and pulls out their phones, except for the one person who pulls out their dice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
right. And they're like, he'll handle it.
Yeah.
Because he's got the thing.
So what are some ways we can get them out of that? I've got one.
Okay. Do you want to start?
I can start.
Okay.
You throw Team Rocket at them.
Mm.
All right. So Team Rocket from Pokemon wants that Pikachu.
Okay.
Right? Like that Pikachu, they've seen it do some crazy stuff. It has killed multiple gods. What is with that thing? If they catch it and they bring that to their boss, Giovanni, they will be set.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they're going to be his right-hand henchmen, is what they assume. And then I think Meowth is trying to get the attention of his Persian or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that ever gets resolved. Anyway.
Yeah. Deep basically, Pokemon lore.
As they are abusing this item and relying too heavily on it, right? Word's getting out. There are people who are hearing about like this, I don't know, crazy thunder sword that, you can use it to like cut mountains in half and stuff, or whatever it is that this item does that's just a little too good. And people want it.
Yeah.
And they come after it, right? And they find out who has it, and it just that item on its own starts to cause you trouble.
Right. Like you can't sleep at night. People are constantly after you and your party because of this item. Okay.
And they can even be inept like Team Rocket.
Right.
Right? Like they'll be annoying enough, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like just constantly getting into more and more combat encounters because of this thing, that you're going to be like, all right, maybe I need to be careful about when I use this and make it more of a secret. That's a start. But then you have people trying to steal it still, and maybe they succeed. If they succeed, problem solved.
Yeah.
Right? Like
as long as you I think that the best thing about what you're saying and implying here is that you're coming up with a way to make it part of the story, A, and B, feel like a legitimate conflict in the story, so that the player doesn't feel like they're just getting something taken away from them because the DM doesn't like that they have it.
Everybody at your table already knows this thing is too good.
Right.
If you're resorting to this everybody at the table is like, all right, we're kind of tired of this thing. And the player who has it might be like, no, I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
No, I'm keeping it, guys. I'm not giving this thing up. I earned this by whatever.
Right.
I mean, nobody earns anything.
Truly.
I don't. We can talk about philosophy later.
Okay.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just think that there are players who would feel targeted because of this. But if the more you tie it in to the main storyline, the more that like this is like the bad guy doesn't notice the party first. They notice this item. They're like,
okay,
that could be useful to me. And then later they're like, all right, well, if I can't have it, at least I can destroy it. And then later they're like, okay, and so who has this thing anyway? I'm going to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so this could just bring about the end of all of your party. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this could be a premature, like, oh, well, okay, you guys are so tough, huh? Because you got your special flamey sword. Okay, sure. Well, deal with this.
Yeah, that actually, and that could set up a pretty good story arc if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where the player who has the weapon feels empowered and invincible with it. And then the weapon becomes such a huge target. Eventually they're overwhelmed. They lose it somehow.
It turns out that they weren't ready for that responsibility.
Yes, they weren't.
And then now they have to grow.
And yes,
right?
Exactly. That turns it into...
If you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve the suit.
Yes, it's Iron Man. Yeah, exactly. It's a superhero story. It's really... we just watched the second MCU Spider-Man movie because Colin had never seen it.
Oh, so, I watched it recently as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Real good. I like, darn it, I like those Marvel movies. Let me tell you. And I think you can get a lot of good storytelling elements from those superhero movies that can be used.
In fact, like this is like totally in that movie.
Yeah,
that exact movie. It's glasses.
Yeah, it's the glasses.
It's the glasses.
Right, exactly. Well, that's the other thing, because that's another way to take that same kind of thing. Maybe it's a different sort of thing, because you could. That's okay. This is what I was going to say. So. Another way you can approach this player, give them too strong of an item. It depends on who the player is and what kind of relationship you have with them, because you might be able to approach them and you might be able to say like, hey man, like this thing I gave you was way too strong. And I think it's affecting how much fun everybody is having. Like, I'm sure you're having a lot of fun with it, but I'm like really hoping that we can do something with this so that it doesn't become the center point of every battle, right? or the focus point of every battle.
Yeah, if you foresee that this might be an issue with that person, which like some people, they're anything that you do that makes their character weaker or that takes away something from them, they are going to feel that way. And I think you can even negotiate.
Right.
I think you could say like, hey, I like this is too good, and it's actually like I don't, maybe somebody said something or maybe not, but I would say like, I don't know for sure because no one's expressed this opinion, but I see people zoning out during combat, except for you. Because I think everybody just relies on this.
Right.
Right. I'd like your character to still be really strong, but I want to take away that item. So I want to see if we can turn this into a character growth moment and give you a different thing to replace it that like comes from within your character.
Yes, exactly. Like, and you can come up with a
new
way,
feat, a new ability or something.
A person to give it to, or or like something like that, where their character willingly gives this item up in a way that feels satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they made a sacrifice that in the end makes them a more developed character,
Mhm.
or you know, yeah, or you have to give them something. You're right. Like you have to replace that with something else that feels just as cool, but mechanically maybe is a little more balanced.
Right. Yeah. Like it can't just be a solve button on every encounter. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say if you make it better situationally and worse overall, then you're on the right track.
Yeah. You can even make it more useful in specific situation, but maybe less useful for the purpose of the entire game. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
all right. So let's say you have a lightning sword that gives you an AoE lightning attack,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just wrecking everything all at once
Mm-hmm.
because your fighter has 4 attacks and they can all use AoE lightning.
Yeah.
Oops, that's way too good of an item that you gave to your level 3 fighter.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No
Right?
kidding.
Like this is an issue because now
Uh-huh.
suddenly either A, the enemies all have to be immune to lightning damage, which is a possibility,
Yes.
or but like that's the only way of stopping this thing.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to continue with a B.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that was another thought I had, was probably a not satisfying way to approach it is to just throw enemies that all
resist exactly that one
exactly that thing. Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Because that often feels calm down. That often feels like I'm watching you. That often feels like exactly the same thing. Like you're just targeting my thing.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you know that I have the lightning sword, so yeah, of course you're gonna just send these monsters so I can never use my good attack because that's
Yeah.
their good attack.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know
You're
they were given an option that's too powerful, and now it feels bad to have it taken away.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you gotta you do. Isn't that weird that feels so bad?
Yeah. It does, but it would,
Yeah,
it would feel bad.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
in fact, the party, even if you had a player
Mhm.
that was like perfectly understanding, like really wanted to be a team player, like but they had this thing. I think even just them having a weapon that is way too strong
Mhm.
is bad for the game.
Mhm.
I just think it is.
Yep.
Like even if they
Even if they never use it,
use it, yeah, exactly. Even if they never use it, I think
because you still have to plan every encounter around it.
right.
Like you
Yeah.
still have to, like, what if they do use it this time? And
Mhm.
maybe they won't. Maybe that's part of their character is like they carry around this ancient magical sword that's like that's like known for how strong it is, and they just always keep it sheathed.
Oh, that's
And
another way to balance it too, by the way,
what?
is to make it so powerful that they actually can't handle it.
Oh, now that's good. Yeah, like like at first it seems fine, but then there are some side effects.
Yeah, like it turns out that they were not ready to use this, and it's
Mhm.
having an effect on them.
Yeah.
This is again something you'd have to approach them about ahead of time, I think. I don't think it's something you could just spring on them in game. I think you'd have to talk to them about it like outside of the game ahead of time. Because then
Mhm.
you might even decide to let them keep it. And
Or the other way you could do it
Mhm.
is you could start to introduce side effects for other items first.
Okay, yeah.
And you could, well, okay, you still want to talk with them.
Yes.
Probably. You want to talk with your players in general about this.
Communication.
And say, like,
is,
hey,
yeah,
I'm
big.
thinking of, to the whole group, say, hey, I'm thinking of introducing more magic equipment.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking of this idea where it might have side effects when you use it. Like, would anybody be interested in that sort of risk versus reward? Like, would you be okay with permanent changes to your character because of a magic item that you overuse? Like,
Mhm.
overuse as far as your character can handle, like that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, we just saved your butt, man.
Yeah. You had this problem and we helped you.
Because now this is awesome.
we've just
You better hope you gave somebody a magic item that's too good.
I want to give my players a magic item that's too good
and do all this stuff
so
to them.
I can do this to them.
Now, every time I pick up a magic item, I'm going to be like, that seems too good. I'm going to put that back down. Let me get the ring that turns your genitals invisible. I'll just take that one.
And that's all it touches.
Ooh, what? Oh, you never know. You can't guess.
Yeah.
I'm naked, but it's not inappropriate. Ah!
Everything about me is androgynous.
Yeah. Would you get in trouble if you had if you were just flat, if you were completely solid? What kind of? I mean, a little kid is allowed to undress their Barbie doll.
Yeah.
So is this public lewdness now, or
it depends on how you strictly define genitals
and invisible.
Well,
there's just this hole you can see in.
Look at all those organs.
Yeah, what are you doing with those organs out, huh? You probably should go see a doctor or something. No, I'm fine. It's not leaking or anything.
No, it's invisible. No, it's not gone. It's just invisible. Yeah, there's a lot of implicit and explicit problems with that.
Probably don't put that one in your game.
Yeah, that's not
Probably don't, unless you want to have some weird discussions that you didn't realize were discussions.
Mm-hmm. Discussions not to have. Generally.
Yeah, are secondary sex characteristics also No. Genitals are just procreative organs.
Probably.
No, I think that is the strict definition.
I could look it up. The definition. Let's look it up. Let's look up
just look up the word itself. Don't look up define or definition with it. Just
okay, well, there you go. All right, just the word itself. It gives me the definition.
Darn it.
Relating to the human or animal reproductive organs. A person or animal's external organs of reproduction. So it is strictly the external organs of reproduction. In terms.
Okay, so if the spell follows that particular definition, on somebody who is genetically male,
okay, sure,
there'd just be some stuff floating around, because that's not really external.
Yeah, well, exactly. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks so uncomfortable. You know what the purpose of this magic item is?
What?
Any
check if they got something in there?
Any creature. Well, they'd all just cringe.
Oh, anyone who saw you, they'd be like, no.
They'd be like, what, blinded? Or they couldn't look. It would be like the fear spell, I guess, where they couldn't move towards you willingly or something. Okay.
Depending on how much cellulite you got on them thighs, they also might be poisoned.
Well, poison?
Isn't that the one, where you get sick?
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Sure. Yeah. Poisoned. Anyway.
So, pretty much what I'm saying is my homebrew, if you're stuck because you gave somebody too powerful of an item, don't listen to my homebrew. Mine's way too good.
Replace it with, I thought you were going to tell them to replace it with the homebrew that you just came up with. Whatever thing you had that was too strong, replace it with this. Which,
by the way, I know there is somebody out there who watches our show with captions. I just want to know if it gets that right. Did it get everything right here? Is it still getting it all right? I've seen a little bit. It's pretty good.
The live captions? Yeah.
I think it even captions who said stuff.
Really?
I think. No. Sorry, that's a feature of Adobe Premiere.
I was gonna say, how
But
does
it
it
automatically figures out who said stuff.
how does it know how does it know what my name is and what your name is?
I don't know.
How does it label us?
I don't know. Or maybe that is YouTube. Oh my God, I'm going to have to look it up now.
But how does it know who said stuff? And what are
We introduce ourselves at the beginning of the podcast.
Oh my gosh, we say our own names at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, and then it labels it using our name. Like what?
Dude.
Like if I said, "Hey, I'm whatever," it would use that name.
Well, next episode, I'm doing that. If I remember, I'm going to say something else.
There was one episode where we like mixed up the names and then said some weird stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder what it does for that.
I wonder what it does.
I'm not going to listen through all 73 episodes to figure out which one that was.
Yeah.
Although it's just a few seconds of an episode, I guess I could.
Yeah.
I've done similar things to that before.
I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Boy. So anyway, rain in a crystal ball.
Yeah, that was a good item, man.
It's good.
That's a good item.
I like that stuff.
I'm going to suggest that also maybe should turn some part of you invisible while you use it.
Cool. Anyway, I'm just gonna get a baby one here, little baby guy. But the baby guys are the big guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Because the big ones we can always say, all right, there's so much to read here. We're gonna have to cut it off there, kiddos. You can go and read this one yourself. But the baby ones, we just got to do the whole thing.
You know what? Okay, I've got the perfect one.
Okay.
I've got it actually is the next one. I was gonna skip this, but now that I'm looking at it, it's probably. I thought this was too much, but it's actually going to be just enough because all it's gonna be Pancratos_gaming. Pancratos?
Pancratos. Yeah.
As in like the god of war guy.
But all of him.
But Pan. Yes. Yeah. All Kratos, Pancratos.
Well, so pancration is the name of a martial art. It's the like Greek wrestling and just unarmed combat form.
Was it Pancratos who made it? Who created it? The father of it?
I am thinking now after hearing that word as a name, probably, yeah.
Okay, anyway, this is I read through most of this.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you give me that user's whole name again?
Pancratos_gaming.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
This is a 1.0 version of just the races of Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
It's pretty darn good. And it's really extensive. The way, like the features that it gives each race makes a ton of sense and is, as far as I can tell, as an amateur and not really, like an expert or anything, perfectly balanced with how races are in D&D already.
Right.
They like at the end of all of this, if you click that link that we have and you actually look at this, at the very end, on the very last page, it lays out a point score that maps out how much each feature, each racial trait is worth in terms of how mechanically useful it is in D&D, and explains why all of them are all the same score. Like it's like all of these score 29 on this scale, and here's these features and how many points they're worth.
I've never heard about this. This is probably a thing people know about. They might be using a scale that people already use.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I think this is actually
but
something.
I've never heard of this.
I know.
What?
I know. I had never heard of it.
So
either.
hey, you new DM out there who's stuck in that other situation, you better research this now too.
Yeah, this is great for balancing, it seems. Okay, so the rate, I'll just list all the ones they use. So they have Hylians. They have a variant of Hylians, which is very similar to human. There are some differences, but Hylian is basically human. It's almost like a mix between human and elf.
Exactly.
Which is what Hylians are in Zelda lore. It has Gerudo, Goron, Rito, Sheikah,
I'm waiting for the important one.
Zora.
Dang.
No. Yeah, sorry.
No Korok.
No Korok. No Korok. That'd be tough. And
well, they'd be similar to a gnome, but they'd go yahaha.
Yahaha. Okay. So just to like touch on each of these to give you an idea of what they are. Hylians. Okay, so also it has like a list of just like in the player's handbook, it gives you a list of names, like first names and last names, and they're so good.
All right, let's hear them.
They're so good. Okay,
let's get a couple of those.
It's just in alphabetical order.
Do you have a? Is it a table?
It's
some dice.
Just lists male, female.
Oh, okay.
It's just a list.
That. Okay.
It's just a list. Yeah. Male.
All right, give me the fourth male one.
Fourth male one is Botrick.
Yep. And the eighth male one.
Chork.
All right, now the first, third, and last female ones.
Aliza. Banji.
Yep.
And Yamo.
Oh my God!
I know, aren't they great?
Yeah, they are.
These are great.
Actually, I'm not convinced that Botrick is. I think that one is an actual character name.
It could be. Yeah, some of these are, I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe all of these are.
Maybe they are. I just haven't talked to everybody in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't pay attention to their names.
This dude might do their homework. Yeah. Okay.
So Hylians get their biggest thing is they get more ability score increase than most other, which is what humans get, right? So two charisma and two more ability score increases, one in anything. Two other abilities, 1 point each. Okay, great. There we go. Their speed is 30, and their racial traits are, number one, they're brave. So they have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. They have divine grace, which means when you finish a long rest and you have no inspiration, you gain inspiration. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Finally, an inspiration point.
I know. It's like, that's the coolest one. I love that.
Yeah.
When you finish a long rest, you gain inspiration if you don't have it already. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's great. Oh my God.
You gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice.
Okay.
You speak, read, and write common, 1 extra language, and there's a variant rule where your ability score increases are a little bit different, and you gain a feat instead, which is the same as human variant, I think. So super cool. Love that inspiration thing. Awesome. Gerudos.
You're hot.
Yeah, well, number one. They've got names like Essa, Combe, Saula, and they only list female names because, as you know, only one male is born in a Gerudo every so often, and it's always Ganondorf.
Yep.
Okay. So
that lucky duck.
Constitution increases by 2, charisma by 1. And okay, their speed is 30. Gerudo fortitude. You have advantage on all Constitution saving throws.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You're accustomed to the desert heat, so when you're not wearing heavy armor, you do not require any additional drinking water in hot weather, and you have advantage on saving throws against exhaustion when exposed to heat.
Cool.
Expert explorer. You're proficient in survival. Moving across sand is not difficult terrain. And when you make an animal handling check related to mounts and beasts of burden, you add twice your proficiency bonus. There you go.
Cool.
Here's my favorite of the Gerudo. Saving face. Gerudos are careful not to show weakness in front of their allies. If you miss with an attack roll, or if you fail an ability check or saving throw, you can gain a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet of you. Maximum of +5.
Whoa.
Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. That's so cool. You're like, oh man, I can't look bad in front of my friends.
Yeah.
So it's so cool.
Oh, that's good.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Who else we got? Who else?
All right.
I hope you guys brought your popcorn because I think I need to hear about all these.
Yeah, I think you might. These are so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Gorons are all male, which they're like not.
They're not born.
Yeah.
Really. Exactly.
They don't.
But yes, they all use male pronouns in the game. So.
Yeah, and they only have male.
I don't know what they do in Japanese though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they still call each other bro.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like actually bro, or the Japanese equivalent of bro?
Japanese equivalent of bro.
Okay.
But maybe just the English word bro.
Yeah, they got names like Doral and Grayson, which I believe is
Grayson
actually
is one of them.
Guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tanko, Volcon. Yeah. Cool names. Strength increases by 2, Constitution by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Speed is 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, unarmored defense.
Do they have rolling speed? Okay, we'll get to that.
Yes,
I'm sure they
do. You nailed it.
All right.
So this is kind of a long one, but basically, so you have an armor class equal to 12 plus Constitution. Mm-hmm. They're rock people. That makes sense.
Yep.
So when you're not wearing armor and you have both hands free, you can spend 5 feet of movement to curl into a ball or back. So while curled up, you can use your movement speed to roll. The speed is halved when rolling uphill and doubled when rolling downhill.
Ah, cool.
Any sudden elevation of 3 feet or more, like a low wall or something, prevents you from rolling over it, and you cannot jump while you're curled. Okay. You gain a +2 bonus to AC when curled. You have disadvantage on perception checks that rely on sight. You cannot take reactions, and you can only take the attack, dash, and hide actions. If you hit a target with an unarmed strike while curled, you deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus strength. But if you move at least 20 feet straight forward while curled and immediately hit a target with an unarmed strike, you can use a bonus action to attempt to shove the target. Strength saving throw, DC is 8 plus proficiency plus strength. And you can either knock it prone or 5 feet away from you. Okay. So they have a powerful build, which means your count is one size larger when determining carrying capacity, weight, push, drag, or lift. Mm-hmm. Here's a cool one. Unless any equipment betrays you, you appear indistinguishable from normal boulder while you're curled into a ball, remain silent, and remain motionless. It's a little stealthy. This is very similar to an earthed genasi in a lot of ways, except you can't swim. So when you enter a body of liquid, you immediately sink to the bottom at a rate of 60 feet per round and must hold your breath. They probably didn't add the fact, it seems that Gorons don't breathe. But, I don't know about Breath of the Wild, but in Twilight Princess, they don't. Because you meet a Goron at the bottom of a lake and he just kind of chills there. He's just there the whole time. He never leaves. Yeah. And he doesn't seem to have any problems. So apparently they don't breathe. But
yeah, they are definitely too dense to swim.
But they are definitely too dense.
In fact, I think they're too dense to swim in, or at least they might be able to swim in magma. If they're able to withstand it, I forget.
Right. They don't.
Doesn't matter though.
I feel like, there's definitely, he says at the end too, that there's like a lot of characteristics that
you kind of have to like fudge a little.
Yeah, they can't include because it would just be too much. You know, stuff like that. So, I mean, there's obviously that kind of stuff. Okay, Rito. Male names like Genli, Hearth, Tulin, or Tulin. Female names like Cecily and Keel and Knots. Okay, your ability score. Dex increases by 2, wisdom by 1. Your speed is 25 feet. Now here's an interesting one. I don't remember how it works for Aarakocra. They can just fly, right? They just can fly.
Yeah.
They do a bit of a nerf here. So you have a flying speed of 50 feet, but you can't be holding or carrying anything. And you can't be wearing medium or heavy armor. At first level, you can only use the speed to glide. You can move horizontally in the air, descending 5 feet for every 25 feet of lateral movement.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop gliding when you land, or if an effect causes you to fall. And then third level is when you can fly.
All right.
So interesting nerf. Third level is pretty quick, so it doesn't probably affect much.
So if you don't ignore the rule for Aarakocra that they are have to roll to save from being frightened when they're in an enclosed space, then they're like really good. So I think anything less than that does feel like a nerf, but it's probably actually balanced with Aarakocra as written.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, level 3. I mean, you'll get to level 3 in no time. Like third session.
Yeah, at least eventually. As long as your stupid inability to fly doesn't get you killed.
So another nerf is that I think Aarakocra, they have wings and arms.
Yeah.
But Rito, their wings are their arms, which is another important thing. But it's not like you can't fight from the air because you have quick draw. When interacting with an object while using your flying speed, you can draw and stow the object once in the same turn without falling. You do descend 10 feet. You fall if you end your turn in the air while holding or carrying anything. So basically, just like in the game, you're probably going to be an archer.
Right.
You pull out your bow,
most likely.
You shoot, and then you put it away. All in one thing, right? Makes sense. Okay.
Of course, that still allows for aerial sword combat.
It does. You could swoop down.
I mean, if both people are in the air.
You
just fly over to them and then go, ha, and fall.
And fall.
Then you kind of fly back up. And they swipe at you next. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Trading blows. You also have talons. So unarmed strikes deal 1d4 slashing. Sheikah. Male names like Darton, Hino, Rensa, Steen.
What's up, guys? My name's Steen.
Female names like Coco, Melly, Paya, Paya, and Trissa. Dex increases by 1, intelligence by 2. Okay, speed of 30 and climbing speed of 20. I don't know. Is that a thing? Or is Sheikah good at climbing or something? I don't know.
I think so. I think that the climbing gear, like the bandana and stuff from Breath of the Wild, are
made by
Sheikah things.
That makes sense. Artificer's lore. When you make an intelligence history check related to magic items, alchemical objects, or technological devices, add twice your proficiency bonus.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense to me. Expert espionage. Choose one of the following skills: acrobatics, sleight of hand, or stealth. You are proficient in that skill and add twice your proficiency bonus. Okay. Sheikah agility. Reflexes.
Wait, I just had an idea for another race, which is Yiga. Is that already one of them?
No.
Okay, cool. So here's how you do Yiga. Take away the artificer stuff from Sheikah. Give them the ability to teleport anytime they eat a banana.
Perfect.
They can eat a banana as a bonus action.
They're a sorcerer. That was a callback to last episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
When you move on your turn in combat, you can double your speed until the end of your turn. You can't use it again until you move 0 feet on one of your turns. Hey, that's the same as the cat person ability. What Tabaxi ability in D&D, in the actual 5th edition rules. So, okay. Sheikah technology. You are proficient in the use of explosives and firearms.
Heck yeah.
That's it for that.
I think I'm switching my character to a Sheikah.
Well, there you go. And then it's the Zora.
Because then I wouldn't have to take the feat. I'd actually have a higher skill point total. Because I wouldn't have had to have taken the firearms thing as a feat. I would have just gotten more skill points or a different feat.
Well, it says in the rules that
that's optional. That
you can be proficient in firearms if you want to be as an artificer.
Oh, maybe that's why I took it. I don't remember then.
I don't think that you have to take the feat anyway.
Did I never take a feat and just take points then?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I feel like we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it now.
That's probably a good idea. Dex increases by 1, wisdom by 2. These guys have spells. They do magic. Amphibious, you breathe water and air. Walking speed is 30, swimming speed is 30. You can communicate simple ideas with beasts that can breathe water. They understand your words, but you have no special ability to understand them.
Oh.
Okay. Which is like, man, I can't remember any D&D creatures anymore. What are the ones that can do that with animals? They can talk to animals, but they can't understand them. There's something like that already.
I don't know.
You have resistance to cold damage and ignore any drawbacks caused by deep underwater environments. You know the Shape Water cantrip. When you reach 3rd level, you can cast Create or Destroy Water once. At 5th level, you can cast a Wall of Water once per long rest. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability. You require twice the normal amount of drinking water per day. And when you make a saving throw for drinking only half the amount, you roll with disadvantage. So I think the magic was worth more points on that chart I talked about at the beginning. And I think that the dehydration actually is worth negative points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they get around.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea, is you balance it to be the same by giving buffs and debuffs.
And debuffs, right. Mm-hmm. Okay. You have proficiency with spears, tridents, light crossbows, and nets.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Cool. Yeah, those are all really good. I have to look more into this balancing system that they used, because maybe we do an episode on that. I don't know. Maybe that's like a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say
that it has like a name.
It doesn't say if there's a system or what system they're using to determine these scores.
Mm-hmm.
They just all have a score.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'll look into it.
But yeah. If you look at the chart, it's interesting. They all have 29 points. Like I said, they all have 29 points, and it's interesting how it all lines up, how it all stacks up. What counts as a buff, what counts as a debuff. like the like Gerudo and Hylians and the Sheikah only have positives.
Right.
And then Gerudo, Goron, and Zora all have at least nope, just the Goron and the Zora.
Mm-hmm.
They have something in there that's enough of a detriment to balance things out, to justify how strong they are.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's another risk versus reward kind of deal. Like you're risking getting into a situation where this is harmful for you,
mm-hmm.
right? Like a situation where you can't swim and you'll drown, or a situation like you could be a Goron pirate. That's going to be a little iffy, right?
Mm.
It kind of sounds like One Piece, doesn't it? I just gotta just let me say one thing about it real quick.
Let me just talk about it for a second.
It's already been a whole week. I can't hold it. I can't hold it.
It's actually been less than an hour.
What are you talking about?
For us.
They don't know that.
They don't know that. Okay, anyway.
They can't tell from us wearing the same clothes and being in the same lighting as last time. I don't know if the lighting gives away too much or not. Like there's enough artificial lighting that I can't tell for sure if you can tell what the natural lighting looks like.
I can't tell if you can't tell.
Well, I just haven't compared it. I mean, I'm just too lazy to tell is what I'm saying.
You're right. Well,
sometimes I mess with the color grading on the videos though.
Uh-huh.
So that'll really mix things up.
Did you make me blue?
No, a little green. I sometimes make the highlights green and the shadows purple because of our colors.
Because of that's our mm-hmm.
Also, I didn't do this. You see that?
Oh, that's a coincidence?
Yeah, track 1 and 2 in Adobe Audition are green and purple. Actually, maybe I did do that. Did I do that? No.
I don't know.
I don't think I know how to change that color.
That also seems like...
Oh, yeah, I do. I do know how to change it.
Huh. Turns out if you right-click it, you can just change it.
Yeah. I must have said it that way then. We've been doing this for a long time.
You played yourself, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm so embarrassed now.
You should be. How dare you? How dare you?
I mean, I'm not that embarrassed.
Oh,
like a 3 out of 10 embarrassed. I'm not like super embarrassed.
How